I found out I wasn't invited to my own son's wedding when I called to ask what color dress I should wear. His fiancée answered and told me they were keeping it small, just close family. I was his mother. I had raised him alone for 23 years. I stood in my kitchen, phone pressed against my ear, trying to understand what I'd just heard. Emma, my son Derek's fiancée, used that sweet voice she always had when she wanted something. She said it was nothing personal. They just wanted an intimate ceremony. I would understand, right? I didn't understand. I had been paying their rent for 8 months. I had bought them groceries every week. I had given Derek money for the engagement ring. And now I wasn't close enough family to watch him get married. Derek met Emma 2 years ago at a coffee shop where she worked. He was 23, working part-time at a warehouse. She was 21, beautiful, and she made him feel like the most important person in the world. At first, I was happy for him. Seeing him smile again after a difficult breakup felt like a gift. Emma was charming when she wanted to be. She'd come to Sunday dinners and compliment my cooking. She'd ask about my work as a school secretary. She'd tell me Derek was so lucky to have a mom like me, touching my arm with perfect timing. I believed her. 6 months in, Derek lost his warehouse job. The company downsized. He was devastated. So when he asked if he could move back home, I said yes immediately. He was my son, but Emma came with him. She'd stay weekends, then every night. My 2-bedroom apartment suddenly felt crowded. I'd wake at 6 for work and find Emma in my kitchen, using my coffee, eating my food, leaving dishes in the sink. Then came the conversations. Emma would sit with me after Derek went to bed and talk about their future. She had dreams. She wanted to go back to school. She wanted Derek to start his own business. She'd say I'd sacrificed so much for Derek. That's what real mothers do. I didn't realize she was studying me, learning exactly what buttons to push. After 4 months, Emma suggested they get their own place. Derek needed his independence, she told me. The way she said it made me feel like I was holding him back. They found a 1-bedroom apartment. Rent was $1,200 a month. Derek's new call center job paid $2,000. Emma's coffee shop brought in maybe $800. The math didn't work, and Emma knew it. She said they just needed help for 6 months. Just until they got on their feet. She knew I'd do anything for my son. She was right. I agreed to pay half their rent, $600 a month, almost a third of my salary. I stopped eating out, canceled my gym membership, bought generic brands, small sacrifices for my son's future. 6 months passed. They didn't mention the rent. Neither did I. I kept paying. Then came the groceries. Emma would text Thursdays, running low on food. Could I pick up some things? Organic milk, expensive coffee, steaks, wine, things I never bought for myself anymore. I'd shop for them every Saturday, drive to their apartment. Derek would help with bags, and Emma would hug me. She'd tell me I was the best mother-in-law a girl could ask for. We weren't even related yet. The requests grew. Car insurance, Derek's phone bill, a laptop for Emma's school research. Every time, she'd frame it as temporary, just until Derek's promotion. Just until her better position. They never came. But I kept giving. Because when I hesitated, Emma would make Derek ask. And when Derek asked, with that look that reminded me of when he was 7 and afraid of disappointing me, I couldn't say no. 14 months later, Derek proposed. He called me crying happy tears. He loved her so much. He was going to build a good life. 3 days later, Emma came over alone. She showed me the ring. Simple, beautiful. She said Derek mentioned I helped with it. She wanted to thank me personally. I had given Derek $2,000 for that ring, my vacation savings. I'd never been to the beach. I'd wanted to see the ocean just once. But Derek needed it more. Emma stayed 2 hours talking about the wedding. She'd always dreamed of something elegant. A garden ceremony, white flowers, a small string quartet, nothing too big, just people who really matter. I asked if she needed help planning. I wanted to be part of this important moment. Emma said that was sweet, but they wanted to do this themselves, start their marriage on their own terms. I respected that. I didn't push. I just asked when and where. Emma smiled and said maybe June. Winter came. I kept paying rent. $600 monthly, like clockwork. Kept buying groceries. Gave Derek money for car repairs. Paid for Emma's emergency dental work. I made $42,000 a year and lived like I made half that. My sister Linda noticed in January. She opened my nearly empty refrigerator and asked what the hell this was. I told her I was being conscious about food waste. She didn't believe me. Linda had never liked Emma. She'd said that girl was using me. I defended them. They were young. They needed time. Supporting your children doesn't stop when they move out. In February, Emma mentioned they'd found a beautiful garden estate for the wedding, May 15th, 3 months away. I asked if I could see pictures. She said she'd send them later. She never did. March arrived. No invitation. No requests for my opinion. When I asked Derek about it during our Sunday call, he got quiet. Emma was handling it. She had a vision. I asked if he needed help with costs. He hesitated, said they were okay. But his voice said different. 2 days later, Emma called. She hated to ask. The venue required a deposit, $5,000. They were short. $5,000, more than 2 months' salary. I had $4,000 in checking. I'd been rebuilding savings slowly. I told her honestly I didn't have that much. First time I'd ever said no, even partially. Silence. Then Emma's voice changed. Oh, okay. They'd figure something out. She sounded hurt. Like I'd failed them. I felt sick. I called my bank. I had a retirement account. $18,000 total. The bank said I could take a loan. Up to 50%. I took out $5,000. The interest would eat into my retirement for years. But Derek was getting married. Once in a lifetime. I could work extra years. I transferred the money next day. Emma texted heart emojis. I was an angel. That was March 8th. I never received a wedding invitation. April came. I figured invitations were delayed. Planning a wedding in 2 months was rushed. I started looking at the groom dresses online during lunch breaks. Linda asked if I'd gotten my invitation. I said probably soon. She gave me a look I didn't want to interpret. 2 weeks before the wedding, I couldn't wait anymore. I needed to know what to wear, what time to arrive. So I called. Emma answered. Background noise. Music, laughter. I said I was calling about the wedding. What color dress should I wear? The pause lasted 3 seconds. 3 seconds that changed everything. Emma said, oh, slowly. They were keeping it really small. Just close family. It wasn't that they didn't love me, but they wanted something intimate. Just 20 people. I understood, right? I sat at my kitchen table, vision blurry at the edges. I told her I was Derek's mother. Emma said she knew, and I was amazing, but they'd talked about it. They wanted to start this new chapter with just their immediate circle. His dad was coming, her parents, but not extended family. Too much stress. Derek's father. The man who abandoned us when Derek was 3, who'd sent maybe 5 birthday cards in 20 years, who hadn't contributed a single dollar. He was invited. I wasn't. I asked to talk to Derek. He was in the shower. But honestly, this was a decision they made together. Derek agreed it was for the best. I hung up, didn't say goodbye, just sat in my silent kitchen. My phone rang 10 minutes later. Derek, I let it go to voicemail. He called 3 more times, then texted asking me to please call back. I didn't call. I spent that night looking at bank statements, adding up numbers, rent 14 months, $8,400, groceries averaging $200 monthly, $2,800, car insurance 6 months, $900, phone bill 1 year, $840, car repairs, $1,200, engagement ring, $2,000, wedding deposit, $5,000, random emergencies, at least $2,000 more, $23,140, over half my annual salary, given to them in less than 2 years, and I wasn't invited to watch him get married. I called Derek next morning, asked if he knew, when I gave him $5,000 for the venue, did he know he wasn't inviting me? He was quiet, said it was complicated. Did he know, Derek? He started saying Emma thought it would be easier, but I cut him off. Did he know? Yes, his voice broke, but I had to understand. Emma had this vision. Her family was traditional. They thought it was weird I was so involved. I hung up, hands shaking. Emma's family thought I was too involved. The family I'd never met, whose daughter had been asking me for money monthly while planning a wedding I wasn't invited to. I called my bank, stopped all automatic transfers to Derek's account. Then I did something I should have done months ago. I calculated my budget without them, removed the $600 rent, $200 groceries, random expenses. Suddenly I had $800 extra monthly, almost $10,000 yearly. I could breathe again. Financially, anyway. Derek called 30 times over 2 days. I didn't answer. Emma sent a long text about boundaries and starting their marriage independently. The irony didn't seem to occur to her. Day 3, Linda came over. I'd told her everything. She held me while I cried, then got angry. We were going to fix this. I said there was nothing to fix. They made their choice. Linda said no. I was going to make a choice. For once, I was choosing myself. She helped me draft an email. Short, professional, clear. After much consideration, I could no longer provide financial support. Effective immediately, I wouldn't pay rent or other expenses. I needed to prioritize my own financial health. I wished them well. I sent it at 8 p.m. Thursday. My phone rang at 8-0-3. I turned it off. The wedding was 12 days away. I reorganized my life, called the bank about my retirement loan, set up aggressive repayment, went grocery shopping for myself, fresh fruit, good coffee, nice fish. I scheduled the vacation I'd canceled, 2 years late, but I was finally seeing the ocean. May 1st, Derek showed up at my door. He looked terrible, thinner, dark circles. He said please, they couldn't make rent. They'd lose the apartment. I stood in the doorway, didn't invite him in. Then ask your father, since he's close enough family for your wedding. Derek's face crumpled. That wasn't fair. Emma's parents insisted his father be invited. Family drama with her side. I said, stop. I was tired. For 23 years, I'd given him everything. Worked double shifts to keep him fed. Drove a broken car for 6 years because his braces mattered more. Didn't date. Didn't have my own life because he was my priority. Always. He whispered. He knew. When you asked for help as an adult, I gave that too. Thousands of dollars. My savings, my retirement, my grocery budget. I gave until there was nothing left. And you thanked me by excluding me from one of the most important days of your life. He started saying Emma said something. I don't care what Emma said. You're a grown man. You made a choice. You chose to take my money and exclude me from your life. So now I'm choosing to stop being used. He started crying. My son, in the hallway, sobbing, like when he was small and afraid of the dark. He said sorry. He'd fix this. Talk to Emma. I could come to the wedding, please. I don't want a pity invitation. I wanted my son to want me there. There's a difference. I closed the door, heard him standing there for a long time before he left. Next day, Emma called. We needed to talk like adults. Derek was falling apart. I was putting their entire life in jeopardy over a wedding invitation. Over being excluded from my son's wedding while paying for his life. I corrected. Emma snapped. They never forced me to help. I offered. Every single time. She wasn't wrong technically. But we both knew the game she'd been playing. You're right, I said calmly. I did offer, and now I'm an offering. You're adults. You wanted independence. Start your marriage on your own terms, without my money, she said. I was being vindictive. I'm being done. I hung up. 3 days later, Derek's father, James, called. We hadn't spoken in 15 years. Derek told him what was happening. He thought I was being unreasonable. I laughed. You abandoned your son at 3. Saw him maybe 10 times in 20 years, contributed nothing to his life, and now you're lecturing me about being unreasonable. James said Derek was getting married. This was important. Then pay his rent, since you're such close family. Important enough to be invited when I'm not. James got quiet, said he didn't have that kind of money. Neither do I, not anymore. I hung up. 8 days before the wedding, Emma sent desperate messages. Rent was due. Landlord threatening eviction. Couldn't afford groceries. Wedding deposit non-refundable. But they needed money for the ceremony. Florist needed payment. Caterer needed payment. I deleted every message. 5 days before, Linda told me Derek started a crowdfunding page. Help us save our wedding. Claimed unexpected financial hardship. Didn't mention thousands from his mother. Didn't mention why she stopped. It raised $300. 2 days before, the landlord called me. Derek was 3 weeks behind on rent. Kept saying his mother would pay. Was that true? No, I'm not responsible for his rent. He's being evicted. 30-day notice goes out tomorrow. That's between you and him. My heart hurt, but my voice stayed steady. Day before the wedding, Emma called, sobbing, real sobs. They'd canceled the wedding, couldn't pay the caterer, couldn't pay the florist, venue threatening to sue, everything falling apart. I waited. This is your fault. You did this. You ruined our wedding because you're bitter and jealous. No, you ruined your wedding by planning one you couldn't afford and assuming I'd pay while excluding me. You made choices. So did Derek. These are the consequences. She screamed. He was my son. Yes, he is. And he's an adult who decided his mother wasn't important enough to witness his marriage. I hope you both figure out how to build a life together, but you'll do it without my money. I hung up, for the last time. The wedding didn't happen. Derek and Emma stayed together but had to move. Found a cheaper apartment 40 minutes away. Emma's parents helped with deposit. Derek got a second job. They stopped calling. Linda asked if I felt guilty. I thought about it honestly. No, I feel sad, but not guilty. I went on my vacation in July. The ocean was beautiful. I walked the beach every morning, ate at restaurants without checking prices, read 3 books, remembered what it felt like to be a person, not just a resource. When I came back, there was a letter, Derek's handwriting. He didn't expect me to forgive him. Didn't know if he could forgive himself. I was right about everything. They were in therapy. He was learning about boundaries and manipulation and how he let me down. He was sorry. He didn't know if sorry was enough. He loved me. He hoped someday he could prove that. I put the letter in a drawer. Maybe someday I'd answer it, but not today. Today, I had $800 extra in my budget. A retirement plan slowly recovering. Groceries in my refrigerator. Plans to visit Linda next month. A life that was mine. For 23 years, I'd defined myself by being Derek's mother, by sacrificing, by giving, by making myself smaller so he could grow. I thought that's what love meant. Endless support, no matter the cost. But love isn't supposed to erase you. Real love includes respect, reciprocity, being seen as a person, not just a wallet. I learned that lesson the hardest way possible, by giving everything until there was nothing left, by being excluded from one of the most important days of my son's life after funding it. But I learned it, and now I'm rebuilding, not the life I had before, a different one where I matter too. That's the thing about hitting bottom. There's only one direction left to go,